So we just wanted to give you a little bit of basis and then kind of go into each one, with some benefits. So you have your asphalt, you have your wood shake, you have your metal, concrete, flat, and then synthetic. So an asphalt roof is the most common type of roof. So that's what you're gonna see on most houses these days. And again, it's there because it's a cheap roofing system that, when the builder's putting on, it's not gonna break the bank. So on a lot of higher end, roofs, you're gonna see some of these different variations down here, but on most houses, an architectural asphalt shingle is kind of the basis and the standard. So there is a 3-tab, which is a little bit of an older system. So it's a little bit antiquated. It just doesn't hold up to the elements, as much as the architectural. So 3 tabs, you're not gonna see them very much. They are very susceptible to wind damage. You can see right here that it has like 60 mile per hour wind rating. And so when there's gusts of wind that are coming across the top of the house, that maximum gust, if it's over 60 miles per hour, you're probably gonna have shingles that are ripping off, and areas that become susceptible to, rain and moisture. So you're not gonna see a lot of 3-tabs. That's not something that I would put on my house. The cost between a 3-tab and the upgraded architectural is not that much. So if you do have a 3-tab on your house right now, and there's the option to move up to an architectural, I definitely would do that. I feel like that's something that would be of a big benefit, moving forward, even if you're not gonna be in the house for a long time. So the architectural asphalt shingles come in a lot of different variations. There's a lot of different companies that you can choose from. There's definitely some companies that don't make a very good shingle. So make sure that you're getting on Consumer Reports, make sure that you're talking to people, your local, your contractor that you chose, or people at the supply store. They're gonna have a pretty good idea which ones hold up really well and which ones don't. So inside of that architectural, there's a couple different classes of shingles. So you have a base level class 2 shingle, which is what most people have on their house. Again, when the builder is making, when the builder's putting, the shingles on the house, they're looking for something, that's again not going to break the bank. And so most people have a class 2 on their house. There is also a class 3, and then there's a class 4. So what those mean is how well that it holds up to a hail hit. So they do tests where they fire, steel balls into these at different velocities and see how badly they get damaged. So a class 2 is going to be the base level, and it's not a very good shingle. It's going to get easily damaged, by hail, and just doesn't hold up over the lifespan. So you're going to get much less life out of a class 2 than you are a class 3 or a class 4. They've really stayed away from putting numbers. They used to say 20-year, 30-year, 40-year shingle, and they got in trouble. So that's an old system, and they moved to the classes of class 2, 3, and 4. So that's why you can hear some people refer to it as a 20-year, 25-year, 30-year, 40-year shingle, but they got into the classifications. So class 2, most people have on there. Class 3, there's not a lot out of options. It's not a very popular type of shingle, but it is still better than the class 2. So it's going to hold up to hail a little bit better. The longevity of the shingle is going to be a little bit better. The wind rating is going to be a little bit better. Just another step up from that class 2. The top level is a class 4, and so that's going to be the most impervious, to hail, along with a better wind rating and lifespan. So it's going to hold up to, the sun and the elements and snow and wind, a little bit better. And so those shingles will still get damaged, though, and that's something that's really important to understand, is that even though that it's an impact resistant, it's still going to get damaged with really big hail. So if you get hail that's 2.5 inches or bigger, it's a pretty good bet that those systems, even a class 4 architectural shingle, is still going to get damaged. So don't be surprised, if that happens in the future. And if you have a contractor telling you that that's never going to happen, I would be wary of that contractor. There is a shake type look roof, so that's a presidential style shingle that is a little bit thicker, so has just a different aesthetic appearance, but they're still going to be rated inside of that class 2, 3, and 4 system. So it's mainly for aesthetics, but it does look pretty sharp. So after we get out of the asphalt shingles, there's wood shake. Now, wood shake is a wood shingle, so it's a panel that's individually installed, across your roof. And so they're just really outdated as well. A lot of fire and safety concerns. There's a lot of insurance companies that are no longer insuring those type of roofs or making the premiums extremely high. That's another thing that I forgot to mention though on the architectural class 4 is that you will get with most insurance companies, you will get a reduction in your premium if you do use that. So you just need to see what that upgrade cost is if you're considering going from a class 2 to a class 4 and see how much your reduction in your premium is going to be compared to that. So wood shake, again, you can get that look in a couple different styles that are down here, but it's not a very good roofing system that's going to cost you really probably in the long run. So stay away from that if you're putting a new roof on. So metal roofing systems, they're really great type of roofing system. They can kind of be out of place, so you need to check samples. You need to check your local HOA to see if that's going to be available in your area. With any of these upgraded roofing systems, that's definitely a concern if you have one outlier that just looks a lot different. So but inside of the metal, there's standing seam metal, there is stone coated steel, and a couple other roofing metal systems that are a lot like the standing seam. Again, visually, it's going to look a lot different than the architectural asphalt shingles, but it's also going to hold up really well. And they have the stone coated steel roofs. You can get them to look like a wood shake roof. You can get it to look like slate. So there's a lot of different options. Those are applied with a batten system or direct to deck, and just pretty cool options inside there. Now you have your lightweight concrete roofs. And so, and then also like the newer age Spanish tile, they also make that in a lightweight concrete, roof. The biggest concern with concrete roofs is the load that puts on your house. So if you do not have a lightweight concrete roof right now, it may not be rated, for that type of roofing system, and it's going to put a lot of weight, on your roof. So you're going to have to get an engineer involved to be able to distinguish if you're able to use that type of system. It holds up really well, to the elements. It takes really big hail to get to damage it. But again, the main concern there is just if your roof can hold the weight. So you need to get professional involved before you make a decision with that concrete. Flat, those are quite typically seen on a lot of commercial buildings. It's going to be a couple different systems, mainly TPO or EPDM. One's white, one's typically black, and have a couple different uses. The EPDM is quite commonly used for pond liners, so it holds up really well to moisture, but obviously gets broken down by the sun a little bit more. So those can be on residential properties, a lot. There's also some low slope factors that you can use, like rolled roofing, and also modified bitumen roof. And so, and sometimes there'll be a few different systems on a house. And then you have your synthetic, these type of products are going to be, your Da Vinci, or F-Wave type products, where it's it's either a TPO material, or it's a resin. The Da Vinci is a very nice roof, has a lot of aesthetic, benefits and options, inside of that. You can get it to look like, wood shake, you can get it to look like slate, and a lot of different, variations in between. It's a hard, feels like hard plastic, but it holds up really well, against a lot of different type of elements. And then you have your F-Wave, which is more of so it's a TPO material, but it is bendable, kind of feels like a rubber roof. So, again, anything that's down here, you're gonna have a big cost, you know, to upgrade those roofs. Sometimes it's double or triple, you know, what a asphalt, you know, roof looks like or cost is. But, you know, a lot of the aesthetic benefits, you know, are really there. So these are all the different types of, you know, the main types of roofs that you can consider. And hope this video helped out.